What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome, welcome, welcome to Dot Connect Wednesdays, episode 87. Tonight, we're celebrating a major shift. For years, crypto and AI have operated in what's called the gray zone. Innovative, disruptive, but often misunderstood and outright dismissed by traditional financial worlds. But that just changed. The FDIC and the OCC have both dropped guidance that doesn't restrict, it empowers. These new documents open the doors for banks to officially engage with cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence. And it's going to give clarity, structure, and permission. So this is more than just a regulatory approval. It's a signal that crypto and AI are no longer fringe, quote unquote. They are now recognized powerhouses in the next phase of the global finance and digital infrastructures. We're also going to break down 2 billion in crypto hacks that have hit this year. Yes, that's the real number. We're over 2 billion with a B, and what it reveals about the vulnerabilities that still exist in this space. It's a reminder that even as the industry matures, the need for education, security, and strategy is greater than ever. So if you've been wondering whether it's too late to get in, this is your green light. Officially, the world's largest institutions are moving in, and tonight we're going to show you how to stay ahead of the curve, how to stay protected, and positioned for what's next. All right. So, first things first on the agenda, we're going to dive into the game changing update from one of the most important institutions in the United States banking arena, the FDIC, right? For the first time, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, that's what FDIC stands for those of you who do not know, they have officially clarified the process for banks to engage in crypto related activities. Now, at first glance, that might sound like just another regulatory memo or another sheet of paper, but make no mistake, this is a big deal. This signals a shift, a bridge being built between traditional finance and the world of digital assets. And we're going to break it all down in plain English so anyone can understand why this matters and how you can position yourself for the opportunities that's going to unfold. So let's dive in. So, first things first, the FDIC now requires any FDIC insured bank that wants to offer crypto services to formally notify their regulators and demonstrate strong risk controls before moving forward. In other words, the FDIC is no longer ignoring crypto. They're not banning it whatsoever. Instead, they're saying if you want to engage with crypto, we're open to it, but you better do it safely, responsibly, and have a plan. Now, this guidance applies to things like crypto custody, which is basically holding crypto and storing crypto for customers, enabling crypto transactions, offering stablecoin services. Hello, this is going to be huge. Steve just talked about that for all the members yesterday. This is what he was hinting at, right? And then also, this guidance applies to launching tokenized products in the future. All right, give me 1 second. Let me let some people in. Now, banks, as of now, must show one, how they'll protect customers' funds, which is huge. This is going to definitely open the doors to a lot of capital and a lot of inflows, right? Put this in a perspective. If there was 3 billion people in cryptocurrency, right? I'm just throwing out a number. If there was 3 billion and each person had $100, and these banks are going to show you how they're going to protect your funds, how they'll manage volatility, what cybersecurity measures that they've implemented for the bank, right? And then also how they're staying compliant with all the financial laws that come about. This means people have way more safety, way more security. And when they have these two things, they're more prone to put more capital in. So now, if everybody had $100, but this was initially, but once they found out that now the banks are all compliant, they're gonna have to show all of these things, right? Just to ensure that there's a safe landscape for everybody to invest in and play around in. What do you think that's gonna do to the people who was only willing to invest in $100 at initial point? This changes the game. Now people are willing to put in thousands, hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, millions, billions, etc. Right? So this is big news. This kind of clarity was definitely not there before, right? Banks were always in limbo, unsure if diving into crypto could trigger audits, penalties, or even public backlash. Now, they officially got the green light as long as they follow the rules. All right. So let's dive into exactly what this signals. So this isn't just a policy update, it's a signal. And it tells that the US regulatory machine is getting some serious um, headwinds about integrating crypto into the traditional financial system. And not just as a wild speculative playground, but this is going to be regulated and it's going to be structured and it's going to officially be part of the economy. This is huge. Now, let's be clear. This doesn't mean every single bank is going to rush into crypto tomorrow, right? This is about foresight. So I want you guys to stay with me. This means that the dam is actually cracking. This opens the door to your local bank offering crypto wallets, 401ks holding digital assets, hello, mainstream savings accounts, yield interest through tokenized products, new revenue streams through blockchain infrastructure and stablecoin payments, and most importantly, it normalizes crypto. Crypto is no longer, quote unquote, the wild, wild west that Steve and I both came up in. It's now under consideration by institutions that manage trillions of dollars, and that's a paradigm shift. Now, I'm also going to connect how this factors in to AI. You might be wondering how, right? Where does AI come into this? Great question. Banks are going to move into new complex 24/7 world of digital assets. This means they're going to need two things: automation and intelligence to keep up. And that's where AI comes in. So I identified four things that AI and automation is going to help with this whole new play, right? And keep in mind, David Sachs is the crypto czar and the crypto and AI czar. All right. So make sure you guys are paying attention to when he speaks. So you've got AI for fraud detection and risk management. Because as you all know, crypto moves fast and AI can analyze millions of transactions in real time, flagging anomalies, excuse me. It can identify fraud and it can help banks stay compliant. The second thing is going to be personalized banking. So just like you use AI for anything that you want when you're typing in things in the chat GPT and it gives you a response based on what you entered it. Now think about that in terms of banking. The AI tools can recommend crypto investment strategies based on your spending, your savings, your income patterns, deposits, etc. So think about a robo advisor, basically, with your digital assets woven into it. All right. Hold 1 second. And think about this. Third thing is going to be verifiable data. Now, this is going to be huge. This is AI and blockchain. Blockchain is super important because of its transparency. Now, factor in artificial intelligence. We're entering a future where AI generated data needs to be proven and traced. Now, again, with blockchain, there's always an audit trail. You can go right to the block, you can see any transaction. Um, any one of you who've ever purchased crypto at all, you've always gotten a transaction ID. I can go to an Explorer, I can take that transaction ID, plug it right in, and I can see the transaction itself. I can see when it took place. I can see how much was purchased, the time, the fees you paid, etc. Right? That's the power of blockchain. Now, the key component to that and the advantage for everybody, especially banks, is going to be transparency. Now, that audit trail that the blockchain provides is massive. So the FDIC's move aligns with a world where both technologies, crypto and AI, become core to that infrastructure of trust. And then last but not least is going to be your operations and compliance. AI is going to be huge for this because instead of hiring dozens of compliance officers, banks can use artificial intelligence to monitor changing laws, generate new reports, stimulate risk scenarios, or I mean, excuse me, simulate risk scenarios all in real time. So while the FDIC didn't mention AI directly inside this report, their their move basically tees up the integration for AI. right? And this is going to be a necessary support layer for safe, scalable crypto operations when it comes to banks. Now, this is the part that I wanted to lay out. Now that you guys have context, there's going to be some opportunities that exist for you guys. And when I say you guys, I mean myself included, all of the retail investors. So now that the path is being cleared, how can everyday people basically get ahead of this curve? Here are some practical ways that retail investors, hello, you and I, can position ourselves. First things first, you want to look at banks that are embracing crypto early. So, public banks, credit unions, testing crypto services, doing beta testing. You'll hear about it because Steve and I will definitely cover it. But any of the news outlets that you guys follow that are reputable, that will highlight Big Five, they'll tell you, hey, we're integrating this software, etc. Pay attention to those articles, right? And the reason you want to pay attention to them, you still want to do your own, always. I cannot stress this enough. You always want to do your own research, but you want to see the nuggets that are presented to you, and then you take that information and you run with it, right? That's how you position yourself, all right? You want to track who's partnering with firms like Coinbase, Fireblocks, Chain Analysis, other cryptocurrencies, etc., right? They're all hyper important. Next, you want to invest in crypto infrastructure. Companies behind um, companies that are building behind the scenes, right? They've got good tech, wallets, custody solutions, compliance software, things like that. All of that is going to be critical as these banks ramp up. So a couple just off the head is going to be ThinkBlock. You got Circle, which is the USDC issuer. They just announced that they're going to launch their IPO, so they are going public. You've got Ripple, the company, Chainlink, etc. Right, and that's just a couple off the head. So I hope you guys are taking notes. If not, you better catch the replay. All right, next you've got AI crypto projects. Anything that's integrating cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence, those definitely are the ones that you want to pay attention to, especially right now. The ones that are actually building good infrastructure, they have good utility, good use case, good promise, good investors, etc. All right. Want to get into, you want to pay attention to stable coins and real world assets, RWAs. Now, everybody who is a Skyton Academy member, we're going to have this on the horizon for you. We kind of push the course back because we want to make sure that you guys are getting real value for right now in present time. We do a lot of foreshadowing, letting you guys know what's going on ahead of time. But we wanted to, just because right now there's so many moves being made and they're flooding the zone, I want you guys to pay attention to what's happening right now in real time. All right. So as regulation solidifies, USDC and other asset-backed tokens may become banking staples. So this is going to open the door to tokenized stocks, bonds, real estate, etc. Pay attention. All right. And then last but not least, your educational edge. You guys are already here. If you're not a part of Skyton Academy, this is going to be pivotal. You need to get educated. The people who understand how crypto and AI will work together will be the best position for jobs, investments, and innovation that's to come. So, my final thoughts, this FDIC move isn't just about letting banks play with crypto, it's about reshaping what money, trust, and value look like in the 21st century. So it tells you that crypto is no longer a sideshow, it's center stage. AI is not a toy, it's not to be played with. If you leverage it properly, you will be handsomely rewarded, right? And it's going to scale and enhance all things. And traditional finance is evolving fast, and this is very necessary. The institutions that once kind of frowned upon crypto, they're now asking, how can we integrate this safely? And the answer increasingly involves blockchain transparency, AI intelligence, and regulatory clarity. All things that are being worked and are on the table right now in the highest levels of government. All right, so if you're listening to this today, you're early. This is a chance for you to observe, prepare, and act before the rest of the crowd. So make sure you guys stay ready, stay curious, because the future of finance is no longer coming, it's here. All right. Now, there was another big news that dropped, and this happened actually a little less than a month ago. and it kind of slid under the radar. So a lot of people were anticipating this move, but this happened on March 7th, the same day that they had the big meeting at the White House where they talked about the national stockpile, etc. So let's dive into another massive regulatory shift that just flew under the radar. So the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, right, or the OCC. Make sure you guys are taking notes on this. If you've never heard of that before, now you have, and I need you to pay attention, right? This is important. They just issued an interpretive letter 1183. This happened March 7th, and this legally clears, legally, all banks in the US to custody crypto assets, engage in stablecoin operations, and participate in blockchain networks like the XRP ledger. And here's the game changer. The OCC has removed the requirement for banks to get special approval before engaging in crypto activities. This eliminates major regulatory hurdles, paving the way for rapid blockchain adoption. So, what does all of this mean? Why is this important? And most importantly, how does this affect digital assets like XRP and just the crypto industry as a whole? All right, so let's break it down. Let's get into it. So, first, let's talk about who the OCC is and why their decision basically matters. So, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, it's a U.S. federal banking regulator that operates under the United States Department of the Treasury. Their job is basically to supervise, regulate, and ensure the stability of national banks and federal savings associations. And they've got three missions, essentially, right? One is going to be ensure that banks operate safely and soundly. Two, protect consumers. This is always the biggest thing for me, right? Across the board. A lot of these institutions, if you will, they don't do so, but this is their mission. All right. And then last but not least, encourage banks to adopt innovative financial technologies. That's the key. That's the nugget. All right. Basically, the OCC, they have a huge say so in what banks can and can't do. And since the banking industry controls the financial system, when the OCC greenlights something, that means adoption is on the way. It's coming. All right, so let's break down this interpretive letter, right? 1183. So this is going to be a huge turning point for crypto because before this ruling, banks that wanted to engage in crypto activities, like basically holding or securing or custodying digital assets or using blockchain networks, they had to apply for a special approval from the OCC, right? This approval process was super slow, complicated, complex, and so much red tape, right, that they had to navigate through. Now, with this letter, banks are no longer needing special approval. They can legally custody crypto, meaning they can store and manage digital assets from customers, right? Just like they do with traditional assets. You can engage in stablecoin activities, including issuing, holding, and transacting in them. And you can participate in blockchain networks like the XRP Ledger, ETH, and other permissionless networks for settlement and transaction processing. Now, this is huge because it's going to remove regulatory bottlenecks that exist and it's going to allow banks to integrate with crypto at scale. This matters. All right. Now, we're going to talk bigger picture on this one. Three things: mass adoption. You guys may hear this, but I don't know if you truly understand what this means. We always give you guys this nugget. 3 to 5% of the global population is invested in cryptocurrency. That means 95 to 97% of the rest of the world still has not shown up yet to the party. That means all the digital assets that you guys have been investing in for however long you've been in this space, right? I've been here since 2015. Same for Steve. That means these price points, these entries that exist right now, once volume happens, once more capital comes in, which is going to happen, it's not an if, it's a when, right? And the when is between now and 2030. Understand, we have the largest financial institutions with billions, millions, trillions of dollars that are going to invest. And now we have banks, United States banks, on top of the central banks that's already been integrating with certain cryptocurrency companies like Ripple. So what this means is there's going to be a huge influx of usage, of volume, of capital, and all of it's going to flow through this ecosystem. So if you're already in and you're already positioned, you're doing something incredibly right, and you will be rewarded in due time. This is not financial advice. I'm just telling you what I see, and I see very clearly. I got 20/20 lenses right now. So with banks now, free to custody digital assets, offer crypto services, participate in blockchain networks, we're going to see an explosion of adoption. So I want you guys to expect crypto products like savings accounts, lending, which we already have in DeFi, but payment solutions all going to be rolled out, but it's going to be by major banks. Two, it's going to be more institutional money that's going to flow into crypto specifically. This is going to increase the legitimacy. This is going to increase the prices, the demand, and the market stability. All right. And two, I'm going to highlight Ripple and XRP. They stand to benefit the most. This is going to be huge. Now, you may ask, why? Why would XRP, the digital asset, the only one with regulatory clarity, and the XRP ledger, right? Why would they benefit from this? Because Ripple is launching RLUSD. Well, they've already launched RLUSD. That's Ripple's stablecoin. It's regulatory compliant, and it's already approved, right? And it's going to be launching on the XRP ledger. Now banks can officially have the clear path to use RLUSD for payments, remittances, on-chain transactions. Of course, they're going to use XRP, the digital asset, but I'm talking about from institutional side. Right now, the everyday retail person cannot use RLUSD. We use XRP. But now we're talking about banks, financial institutions. Not only are they going to be allowed to use XRP, the digital asset, but they like stable coins, period. Just because they hold that one-to-one peg, it's supposed to be back one-to-one to the dollar, and it removes all the friction that comes with using the antiquated system that we currently are in. All right. So this means more RLUSD adoption growing. This means more XRP utility increasing. And then now, third point, the US is finally catching up. Now, for years, US banks were hesitant to enter the crypto space due to regulatory uncertainty. But countries like the UAE, Singapore, Switzerland, they all move forward with crypto-friendly banking policies. Now, with this OCC ruling, the US is officially greenlighting crypto and traditional finance. This is going to trigger a huge global domino effect, right? So, the implications for banks, finally, that's the one word that I'm going to leave you guys with. Banks can now offer crypto services. Interbank payments can move on chain, right? So with blockchain networks like XRP Ledger now being OCC approved, banks can start using blockchain for instant low cost payments. And this threatens Swift and legacy payment systems that have existed, right? But they're the problem. They're slow, they're old dinosaurs, they're expensive, and that can't exist in the new future of finance, right? You're going to have more stablecoin activity with the banks. The OCC ruling means that banks can issue and hold stablecoins without needing extra approvals. And US banks are going to adopt this regulatory compliant stablecoin like RLUSD that's already approved, and they're going to use it for interbank settlements. So, in summary, basically, this letter is one of the most important crypto regulations that we've ever gotten, period. Now, it cleared banks to custody digital assets. It allowed the banks to engage in stablecoin operations, and it approved blockchain participation, meaning XRP Ledger, they can legally be used by the US banks. This removes all the roadblocks. This opens the floodgates for institutional crypto adoption. So for XRP holders, this is huge because it means that banks are now clear, legal. They have the pathway to use XRP and RLUSD. So this isn't just like a step forward. This is a seismic shift on how crypto will integrate with the United States banking system. So I got a question for y'all. Are y'all paying attention? Let me know in the chat because the future of banking is being rewritten, right in our faces as I'm talking to you guys. Now, here's one thing that I want to cover. What is the one thing I know you guys are probably tired of hearing us say it over and over? There's one thing that I always tell you guys matters the most in cryptocurrency. As you guys been a part of the academy, as you guys been watching Dot Connects, there's one thing I always harp on. That's what I'm talking about. See? That's my tribe. Inside the chat, I see it multiple times. Security, 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 security. Guys, I came across an article and it's wild. Just to put this in a perspective. Today is April 2nd, 2025. Crypto hacks hit record 2 billion plus this year. Just this year. Last year. You know where we're at for 2024? 1.1 billion. We are in the second day of April, and we have already doubled. Now, do you guys understand why I always say security is everybody's job? In 2025, the world has witnessed the most devastating wave of hacks to date. So, according to this report, right, there was a cybersecurity firm called, I might butcher this, but it's Sears, Cyyyers. Over 2 billion in digital assets was stolen in these first 4 months, doubling plus what we seen in 2024. This is a wake up call because behind every single dollar stolen is basically a story of broken trust, shattered communities, and investors that get left in the dark. What's even more alarming is a new class of attacks just emerged, and it's exposing a dangerous vulnerability that's in this system. I'm going to call it the Achilles heel of crypto. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm super interested in hearing about this, right? So y'all let me know. You want me to tell y'all what this threat is? Yes or no? Okay. All right, so I got y'all. All right, so the new threat is called access control attacks. Historically, crypto hacks were dominated by bugs in smart contracts or flaws that existed within a code, right? But this year alone, there's been a new pattern that's emerged. And this access control attack is proven to be far, far, far more damaging and harder to detect. So let me break it down. So, for those of you who've never heard of this, access control is a set of rules that determine who has the power to execute critical functions within a smart contract or a blockchain based application, right? Think of it like permissions in a bank. Who's allowed to move funds, who can change security settings, who can update the system. Now imagine if a hacker could gain control of all of these permissions without anybody realizing it until it's too late. That's exactly what's happening right now. Attackers are now infiltrating the back-end infrastructure of DeFi protocols and centralized platforms. Centralized platforms I'm gonna highlight. I'm talking about things like Coinbase, Bybit, like major exchanges, right, that are supposed to be centralized. These exchanges that exist, they're all being infiltrated. They're being exploited, not by brute force attacks, but by manipulating private keys, exploiting admin level permissions, and then hijacking the systems from within. So It's not always about a flawed code anymore, right? That's becoming a thing of the past. It's about flawed control. The numbers actually tell the story. So far this year, they've recorded over 160 major security incidents with that company, Sears, right? And out of the 2 billion that was stolen funds, nearly half of it came from access control based exploits. Let that sink in. That means $1 billion was siphoned off, not by breaking the code, but basically by manipulating who's holding the keys. Some of the biggest victims, protocols with hundreds of millions of dollars in total value locked, or what's known as TVL. Many of them passed audits, they had multi-million dollar insurance funds, but none of that mattered when control fell into the wrong hands. And I say all that to say that these hackers are getting smarter and smarter. We're not just dealing with rogue coders or basement hackers anymore. Some of these hackers, like, they're showing signs of advanced, persistent threats, like sophisticated attacks. This is like state level operations that you used to see in traditional cybersecurity, right? These attackers are strategic. They will wait, they study systems, they find weaknesses. It might be employee accounts, third party vendors, or even outdated GitHub repositories, right? I don't want to go too deep, but once they're in, they don't just smash and grab. They escalate privileges immediately. They cover their tracks. They move the funds in a series of complex laundering steps, tornado cash alternatives, mixers, chain hop, which means they'll go from the XRP ledger to Ethereum, from Ethereum to Bitcoin, and then they're out of there. Like, they're doing this swiftly, and they're doing this in multitudes. So it's not just one wallet that's moving, right? They'll take from wherever, and then you might see 7 wallets activated, where they might send crypto to 7 different places. And in those 7 different wallets, repeat the same process. They'll send them out elsewhere to other wallets, sell off, convert it to other assets, and then sell off. And it's damn near gone without a trace. So don't think centralized exchanges are safe, because one of the most shocking cases in 2025 so far was the $1.4 billion Bybit hack. That was the largest of the year and one of the biggest in crypto history, right? So I don't know if you guys knew about that, but the insiders and the investigators basically believe it was another access control compromise, right? The private keys were stolen and it was manipulated. The admin systems were overridden and billions of dollars vanished before anybody could do anything, right? So this isn't just about DeFi or decentralized finance. This is not a DeFi problem. This is about DeFi, centralized platforms, etc. Anything that is quote unquote deemed safe has vulnerabilities when the control is in the hands of a few. And that's the point. This year has proven that centralized power is a single point of failure. This is why we tell you guys you have to practice good security. It is your duty, it is your job, it is your obligation. And I'm stressing this because we always encourage you guys to be your own banks. You can't depend on these exchanges because even though it's an exchange, there's still people that run this exchange, right? That have set up certain things on the exchanges. So you would rather trust yourself or a stranger? Let me know. And then put this in a perspective. There's another layer to this, right? Despite the staggering rise in attacks, crypto insurance coverage hasn't scaled to match the risk. So many platforms don't have comprehensive policies in place. We're not there yet. We're still early in the space, right? So even if this does come, right, in the future, are you still banking on just leaving your crypto in the hands of somebody else or on a platform where anything can happen? When you guys have seen us cover multiple times how crypto is being impacted. You guys have to truly pay attention to what's going on, right? Because ultimately, if you leave your crypto on any of these platforms and it gets hacked, history has proven you may never ever be made whole again, right? You're going to be the one who pays the price. It's almost always the retail investor, the investor who thought their funds were safe because the protocol had a flashy UI, right? A few audits, big name backers, etc., right? So this surge in crypto hacks this year isn't just a technical issue. It's a reflection of a deeper problem, right? A lack of prioritization around security. We've seen a rise in meme coins, hype coins, billion-dollar narratives, etc., right? But behind the scenes, a ton of these teams are still cutting corners on one thing that matters the most: protecting the assets of you all, the users. And if we don't fix that, we don't have a future, right? Crypto was built on a promise of decentralization, transparency, self sovereignty, right? Everybody being their own bank, right? Having control of their assets. But that promise means absolutely nothing without security being the foundation, right? It's no longer enough to just be aware. You have to be equipped. So, this is why we created that crypto security mastery, right? That's the ultimate guide to protecting your digital wealth. Whether you're just getting started or you've been in the game for years, the tools, the strategies, the awareness, everything that you need to stay safe in this environment that's growing more dangerous by the day, it's all in there, right? So in the course, for those of you who don't have a clue, who haven't, paid attention to the emails, or if this is your first time joining us, inside that course, we cover how to protect your private keys, how to avoid common traps and scams, how to protect your crypto properly, right? Without the box methods, what to do during an attack, how to store your crypto properly, how to recognize the red flags before it's too late. And you don't have to be a coder, none of that stuff, right? You just have to be prepared. So I'm going to drop the link for you guys. For those of you who are interested, this is your chance. You have to take protection into your own hands. Your security is your number one responsibility, right? So let's just make sure that you guys are ready, right? And I'm gonna drive this point home. So Sonia already dropped that. Thank you so much, Sonia. Greatly appreciate you. Listen, I'm gonna give you guys a rundown. I was curious. So I've been in this space since 2015, right? And at the time, I'm not gonna lie. I never was the person to be when I first got in. I wasn't the person who was like fixated on security, right? So it made me think back. I was like, what were the things that I wasn't the best at when I first came into this space, right? First thing that came to mind, excuse me, was my security. We had paper wallets. We bought crypto and left them on exchanges. And I say we, I'm gonna speak for myself, right? I don't want to include nobody else in this. I bought crypto, I left it on the exchanges, and I was using some of the wildest exchanges, right? I was using exchanges that are no longer here with us today, right? They phased out. I'm pretty sure that at some point there was cryptocurrency that was lost that I didn't know about. I'm 100% positive that there was crypto that was on exchanges and the exchanges just shut down overnight. I was on the exchange. I might have invested two to 5,000 buying something, go to sleep, wake up the next day, the exchange is shut down. It's gone. All my crypto is gone. That's the problem, right? So when I tell you guys about security, I'm telling you from a personal space. Do not make the mistakes of the ignorant. You guys have all the information that you need, and we're laying it out on a platter for you. I'm going to give you guys some numbers because numbers don't lie, right? This is going to be a breakdown of the losses from hacks from 2015 all the way to present. So 2015, 17 million. That was a Bitstamp hack. It was about 5 million, and then a whole bunch of small exchange breaches, right? There wasn't a whole lot of capital that was on these exchanges at the time. A lot of people weren't invested. So 17 million was a big deal. 2016, 72 million. So from 2015, we went from 17 million to 72. And what was notable was the Bitfinex hack. That was 72 million. That was 120,000 Bitcoin that was stolen, right? So that was a huge scam, not scam, hack that occurred. So 2017, we went from 72 million in 2016 to 263 million, right? There was a parity wallet bug. They froze $160 million in crypto. And then we had the Ubit crypto exchange that got hacked. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that, but these are the exchanges that come and go, right? They fly by night. 2018, we went from 263 million to 875 million. We had the coin check hack that was 530 million. In Nemesis, right? NEM was the coin that was stolen. Then you had Bancor, they got exploited, and multiple other crypto exchanges. 2019, this is when it got real. $4.5 billion. Insane. Now we dealing with bees. So you see how just from 2015 to 2019, in the span of 4 years, we went from hacks of 17 million. Now we're at $4.5 billion. And that's just to 2019. So 2020, 1.9 billion. KuCoin got hacked. DeFi, we had Harvest Finance, BZX. Then in 2021, 3.2 billion. 2022, 3.8 billion. This was the highest at the time. So you had the Ronin Bridge attack, that was at 625 million. You had Wormhole, that was 320 million. Nomad, 190 million. Mango Markets and Harmony. 2023, 1.7 billion. So this was an improvement, right? But still, put this in perspective. It's $1.7 billion that could have been in people's wallets, right? And they still had possession of it. Euler Finance, Atomic Wallet, multi-chain bridge issues, right? Now, it was better security at the time in 2023, and it was a slowdown in the markets because it was a bear market at the time. Now, last year, 1.1 billion, right? There was a big downtrend in DeFi. People were literally doing right this time, right? They were like, listen, we're going to increase our awareness and security. We're going to do what's right. We're going to make sure that we're protecting our assets. There was a lot of self-custody and things like that that started to occur. And then there was a decline due to market consolidation. And it was fewer high value protocols being exploited, right? So there was just a big notion of better security that existed between 23 and 24. And now at 2025, we doubled up. We had $2.2 billion right now as of March, right? So you had the Bybit hack, rising access control attacks were just centralized parties, DeFi protocols, everything is just being cooked. You've got sophisticated social engineering and the Lazarus group out of North Korea, right? They're responsible for most of these large attacks. The Ronin, the Harmony, the Bybit that just happened this year, they're responsible for it, right? But what all this means is there's going to continue to be hacks, attacks, savvy cyber security like lions out here who are going to treat people like prey if you don't take your security seriously, right? So, what I want you guys to truly understand is it's your duty, it's your job, it's nobody else's job. Steve and I can do our absolute best to lay these things out for you. But if you aren't taking the priority yourself, saying, okay, I'm learning something that's emerging. This is going to give me great returns. And if instantaneously it doesn't click in your mind that the first thing you should do is figure out how to protect it, get yourself educated, and then execute on that stuff, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. All right. So just understand the numbers are always going to be the numbers, right? These hacks, these vulnerabilities, they're always going to exist. So this is 100% your job. It's up to you. And we are doing an incredible job, if I say so myself, with laying this stuff out for you guys. So get into the academy if you are not already there. I want you guys to get this product that we have laid out for you guys because it is going to be your ally in the war of protecting your digital wealth. Everything is becoming digital. Every day, there's a new exploit that happens. You have to be prepared. This is critical. All right. The link will be down below for everybody watching this in YouTube land. Everybody that's here on a call, it's in the chat already. Sonya dropped it for you. Make sure you get it. And in the words of Steve, don't be dumb. And I say that with love. All right. So let's recap. So tonight we covered the FDIC's crypto/AI guidance, what it signals for the banks, developers, and investors, right? The OCC's alignment with these new regulatory frameworks and how it strengthens the coming clampdown, right? But it opens up the gates for all the banks to be able to utilize and integrate cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence. And then also how over 2 billion was stolen in crypto hacks this year to a major vulnerability, one that average investors still aren't ready for. But this isn't just fear, this is about oversight. And this is why we created Skyton Academy. So people like you, students, builders, creators, parents, investors, etc., you all can be equipped, informed, and protected. Because when the next wave hits, you're not going to have time to figure it out, right? You'll either be in the system or you'll be building something behind it. Hold on. I got somebody who want to come up. We got a special guest tonight.
Yo, yo.
My guy.
What's good? What's good?
Talk to him.
Killed that. Listen, so you're giving them the pass, and clearly we know that it's going to keep happening, right?
Right.
Here's the part you guys are failing to realize right now, because I know a lot of you that are members are in DeFi protocols. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen to these DeFi protocols. You're going to get smoked. You're going to get smoked because when you start to look, and I want you guys to go back and then just research some of these hacks that occurred, because most of them aren't external, they're internal. CEO fake deaths, like this has been happening since like 2014.
Mm-hmm.
The owners of the companies hold the private keys. So when they start to see that they're either getting squeezed by whatever jurisdiction they're in, because this is what happens. The jurisdiction of the countries they're in start to squeeze them out of the business. And on the way out, what they do is they take the assets with them and they act like it was a hack. They know when their business is on borrowed time. We just don't have access to that. So if I know that regulatory rules and regulations are going to make me expire in a year and I can't meet those protocols, you're going to start to see a hack. And it's done internally. And I'm not saying that the external guys don't exist. They really do. But you're fighting against the internal guys too. Like we know this for a fact. This has happened. So you guys asked, can we help you, get into the whole DeFi world? I said, yo, hold off on that. Because what's going to happen is the guys that are running the liquidity pools and the DeFis now, those aren't going to be the guys of the future. You guys are going to get smoked through these protocols. I've had students like, yeah, I'm making money. And okay, you're making money every day with this type of shit. Champ had friends in Celsius and all that other stuff. Yeah, it's great to make money on top of your XRP, but and I don't even do, what's them shits that you be doing, Champ?
Or the Dows and all that, the runways
No,
and
no, not the DAOs. Like when you're like, yo, take a screenshot of your XRP and, airdrops.
oh, airdrops, yeah.
I'm like, I don't even do airdrops. I'm like, I just need my shit sitting and just whatever. You guys are getting too happy go lucky. People are promising you 20% a year. For what? You're locking your crypto up at that point now. That's the ultimate risk. So, okay, so cool. You rock for 1 year with them. You made 20% on your XRP, whatever. You made $1,000, whatever the case is. Even if you made $10,000. Wait till the price starts going up and it starts to become more valuable. Watch what's going to happen to all those DeFi protocols and liquidity pools. I promise you. That's why I stay out of it. I'm not blowing up that asset for a now situation.
Yep.
Right? Celsius was an actual real company, so they're doing right by people. But you don't get too many of those in cryptocurrency. So all those guys and I know you guys are in those groups, you're telling me, and I'm like, be careful. I get it. You want to make money daily on your crypto and it's sitting and it's hard for you to just whatever, but there's a reason why they use the term hodl in this industry. Hold on for dear life. So the minute that you give your crypto up, whether it be to Coinbase and they lock it up, that's the worst thing you could do.
Yeah.
In exchange for what? Back, 3, 4, 5 years ago, it was APYs were 1,000%, 10,000%. I used to tell Champ, I'm like, no, I'm not getting involved in it. It's clearly Peter paying Paul. And the minute they dry up, that's when the whole gig is over. The next attack is going to be on these DeFi protocols because the big boys are already in the room. So I'm telling y'all right now, take your money out of those protocols immediately. Because they're going to be with the institutions that we know, that we trust. Soon it's like, just a little bit more trust. No one can tell me who owns these DeFi protocols. There's no data on them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have cold storage wallets, do not interact with those dApps. Keep the cold storage as cold as possible. Don't use it for to make purchases. Don't use it to swap. Don't do it. But that's all I got for them. I'm telling y'all gonna get rocked. There's gonna be a dot connect in a not so distant future that's gonna be all about the DeFi market and how they just crippled the whole thing. I've seen this happen already. The next thing I'm gonna call is they're gonna start to show you the vulnerabilities on cold storage wallets, because it doesn't benefit them if we all run our own banks. If you didn't watch last night, the money is in the derivatives market. The money is in the liquidity. It's just like our banks now. If we took all our money out of the banks and we held on to the debit card, what good is that to the bank? They're going to close your account down after 30 days of inactivity. You get penalized for not using your card because it's fee driven. So for everybody that's in cold storage right now, we are the most susceptible. Help me out.
It's acceptable.
That's the group that's going to be in front of the firing squad. All right. And I'm telling you this because why would they want every single person to be, I'll be wilding. Why would they want every single person to hold their own bank? Right. And I'm not opposed to diversifying my portfolio. I told you I bought shit back to the exchanges. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. Right? Because now when the banks come in, we're going to probably have access to insurance. We're probably going to have access to higher levels of security. Right? Because if Bank of America and these companies don't invest in the highest grade of security when it comes to cryptocurrency, they're going to be smoked because they're competing with a lot of different protocols that are out there.
Yep.
Today, we're great. You have an issue with your bank. What happens? Provisional credit. They do the investigation. You get to keep the money as long as they know it's not you. But in cryptocurrency, you can't tell me that we haven't evolved to the point of like, I didn't do that transaction, or Why? How did this go through? And I have like 9 signatures or 9 ways to, like there's times where I can't even in 30 seconds, I can't get the email, the text message, or the what's the last way? The authenticator. Like
Yep.
literally sometimes you have less than a minute to get all 3 of those together.
Crazy.
I'm like, this is crazy. But somehow somebody could take your shit off. So I'm telling you that these institutions are hiring people to bring down the self-custody market. Because all it takes is for one major breach on a cold storage wallet. And what do you think is going to happen at that point now? Everybody's out.
Yep.
So this is why Ledger, found the insecurity the other day. What was the wallet?
Trezor.
And that was Ledger. So they weren't looking to drain people. They were just keeping them on their toes. So Ledger is doing this all day. They're probably doing this to each other.
Yep.
Because
Facts.
if Treasure goes down, then we're looking at the cold storage wallet industry. Right? If Ledger goes down, we're looking at the cold storage wallet industry at this point. The same thing when we knew that people were losing on a decent wallet. I'm looking at the entire industry now. That's why we put together that protocol that Champ was telling you guys about.
Yep.
Is because we not only help the guys who had the issue, but we dug in and we were sending emails to the companies and we have correspondence with them and they're not looking to take accountability for it because it fucks up their entire business if that word gets out. So when Champ's giving you those numbers of the breaches and the hacks, that's just from what we know. Imagine all the people that's sitting in shame right now. One of my guys lost 36,000 XRP from that decent hack. But we don't know what he did. We don't know what their network is at home. So that's part of that's what's in the whole protocol. One of the first things that you guys do and the biggest mistake that you make is when Verizon or whoever sets up your at-home internet service, they give you what? A username and password. You know what we tend to do? We tend to just keep it. We never change it. So that's one of the gifts you guys can have. I changed mine the other day, and you're supposed to change these things like every 3 months if you really want to keep up with security. I changed mine the other day. It drove me nuts. My alarm system was whacked. My oven was fucking thrown off. I'm still finding shit. All the televisions had to be updated and changed. Everybody's devices, multi-devices, computers. I'm still finding shit to update. My
Wow.
thermostat didn't work, right? So all the things you don't realize how much we rely on our internet, our Wi-Fi at home. But then when we give all these devices the access to it, we start to create an instability. So you know what I did the other day? I used my Helium mobile that I have in my home, and I'm starting to put those devices on that.
Wise man.
I am to the point now where I'm buying my own Wi-Fi for just my crypto. You let people in your home. You don't on your free Wi-Fi. I mean, you give people your network at home. You need to give them a separate network in your house, something that doesn't require a password when they come to your house.
Indeed.
That's what the protocol is about, guys. But fuck around and find out. So today your wallet might be at 2,000, 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, but tomorrow it could be at 5 million, 10 million, 100 million. So if you're not building the protocol in now, one, what you're doing is you're playing yourself because you're not believing in the future of this. I just had a conversation with my guy today about that. He just leaves his shit on the exchanges. I'm like, yo, you don't know how valuable it's getting more and more valuable. And now we have quantum computing. We're cracking the codes.
Yep.
Common citizens are cracking the codes. You look online, they're showing you how to find private keys for $10. It's only 2,048 words in that. I'm like, that in itself is horrible. This is why I told Champ, like, yo, we need to just do our own shit. So
Yep.
now listen, guys, here's another gem for you guys. Ledger has a 25th word. SafePal has a 25th word. Everybody's adding an additional word. And guess what? The 25th word doesn't even have to be a real word. It could be whatever you want it to be.
Big facts.
Get your 25th word in. Because even if you lost the 24, that 25th one, espialidocious, you can do whatever you want with that one.
Nugget. And he told
You're
him.
welcome. There you
Yeah.
go.
All
Yeah, for
right.
free.
For free.
For free. All
So
right, you
yeah,
can check them out. That's all I got for them.
that's incredible, man. I appreciate you adding that, man, to the conversation. They
Yeah,
needed that.
I just got to give them the future. Yeah, we could look at the past, and that's great. It's going to tell us what the future looks like. But
Hmm.
then there's some more stories about the future that you guys don't even see coming. Every single one of these big protocols that went down, because remember, JP Morgan and them was behind the Terra Luna at
Yep.
that time. That's what create. We never bounced back from that. I don't know if you realize that. That's why you saw the DeFi protocols and the hacking coming from there was less, because once you get spanked once, you're not going back.
Absolutely. You tapped out.
And guys, you don't have the time to play around with it, because XRP at $2 is different than XRP at 2 cents,
Straight up.
right? It will pay me to have to pay $2 now. It pains me to have to pay what I'm paying now for the shit,
Yeah.
because I was just so accustomed to the low shit. So if you're coming in, just build a security in and just charge it to the game. Trust me when I tell you that. Because most people, when they lose in crypto, they don't go back. Hey, how's it going? All right, champ, you got it.
That's it. My guy, appreciate you. All right. So listen, y'all heard it. We're not here to, you know, beat the dead dog, man, and just keep saying the same thing over and over. But listen, man, y'all know what's important. You know what I mean? And if you feel like it's not important, it's cool, right? But to those who do, Sonia, please drop that link. You guys have until tonight. There is a special price for, everybody until midnight with the promo code. We sent out emails and all that for it. So if you're on this call, you definitely need to partake. All right. So thank you all. We greatly appreciate you. Just to recap, FDIC's crypto and AI guidance, right, what it meant for banks, developers, investors, the OCC's alignment with the new regulatory framework and how it strengthens the coming clampdown, right? Um, we had the 2 billion stolen in crypto hacks this year, the major vulnerability or the quote unquote Achilles heel for the industry. But again, definitely not about fear. It's all about foresight. We created Skyton Academy so everybody is equipped, informed, and protected, right? When the next wave hits, you won't have to figure it out. We'll already have delivered, and you guys would have already been in position, ready to execute. All right. So if you are looking for a home for cryptocurrency, AI, the future of finance, you can enroll today for just $50 a month. That translates to $1.67 a day. That's cheaper than a bottle of water. But what you gain could change your entire trajectory of your life. Inside, you get access to crypto and AI courses, private live talks, segment calls, master classes. We just added another master class for you guys today that just went live. Research breakdowns for cryptocurrency projects, spots, alerts. Um, and most importantly, it's a community, right? It's a home and everybody that sees what's coming and knows how to move accordingly. So all you guys need to do out there in YouTube land, like, comment your biggest takeaway, share it with somebody who needs to hear this truth, and make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications so you never miss another drop or a powerful playback. All right, the time to move is right now. The dots are connecting faster than ever, and this is your chance to get ahead, stay ahead, and build a future on your own terms. We'll see you same time next week. Big love. Peace.